So we've got ourselves the 2x78 upgrade. The question is it actually going to be worth it this week? Should we really put a grind in? We have got the 83 upgrade still in here as well, and we have had a few more other stuff. I believe we've got an Evander SBC, and then I believe we've got a player of the month somewhere as well. We've got a right mid, 5-star weak foot, not bad. But the main focus is going to be this 2x78. Let's have a look at what the requirements are. I can imagine there is going to be a heavy requirement on obviously the golds. So we did see this last week. Again, the 7 coming in. I think it's good. Like, it's not a bad requirement, but I mean, at this point in the game, whether you are really putting in the numbers for this, I would definitely be looking at your storage, obviously utilizing what you've got in here, especially within the rating cycle, if anything. Again, you still want to obviously only put 6 rares in. Make sure that you are using that common slot, because there's just no point not putting a common in when in fact you've got so many rares to go into this. So let's go ahead and see what the first one gives us, because in that last time we did a few of them, and to be honest, I didn't really feel like there was anything too crazy with this. And naturally, we've not got League SBCs yet. They more than likely will come at some point. But in terms of the upgrade, what did we have last week? Was it 77s? We had 2 77s, which were the same requirements as this one, which is fair enough. I'd imagine it to be roughly around the same. I was shocked we didn't get no player picks, but whether that's going to be next week. So the first one, we get the board at the minimum. Senegalese, Saudi, Koulibaly? I don't even know if he's even in the game anymore. Is he? Is that him? 82? It is 82 rated, so pretty standard. In terms of the other grade, 82. I mean, the only kind of saving grace with these is if you do get 2 players that you're not going to use, you can at least put them back in, so you only need to get 4 rares and 1 common. It's kind of one of them that you can just keep doing. So if you're looking for coins, head over to eldorado.gg. There is huge amounts of verified sellers on Eldorado, and there is a money back guaranteed by Trade Shield. If that's not enough, there is 24/7 live support and also plenty of reviews across websites that will definitely put your mind at ease. And as always, before you check out, make sure that you are using the code JT11 for 5% off every single order. Back to the video. So with obviously the extra stuff, we will put it into the 83. That at least is just worth the punt at the minimum. A lot of the time I've managed to get absolutely nothing from it. I think we're 0 and 4 in walkouts from this. This week, it's just a normal one again. Oh, is that, Lobo, 83. Again, it's always worth the punt. So what we'll do is we'll try and get 10 of these 2x78s. We'll give it a fair shot of at least a solid snapshot and see what they're working with. And if they don't, we'll kind of go with what the ways you can grind these out. Okay, so we got 10 done. Let's see if we get at least 1 walkout, I would say. We're not really going to get too heavy on the rates, I can imagine, for the 2nd or 3rd upgrade round that we've got. Normally, player picks is kind of normally the turning point, but we can still grind these out to a decent level. So hopefully we do get at least 1 person. We're going to get Alaba in that one. I mean, he's not really anything to go by. He's only 82 rated, but I mean, at least he's a Real Madrid player. It's got to take what you're given at this point. Next one, not even that. We're going to get Cliver, I believe. It is. I mean, I don't care why. It doesn't make a difference. He's only 79 rated. Cliver in there, standard. So, come on, we've got to get at least 1 walkout, surely. So, there's another board. I suppose that's the new boards. We're going to get Spanish in the Saudi League. I don't know. Oh, Nacho, of course. So, Nacho Fernandez, 82 is the highest one to beat. I think, did we get... No, we didn't get an 83. That was from an 83 pack. Centre mid, Italiano into somebody we don't know. 83 potentially. 83, I mean, we've literally just took her out of the storage, so that's the new one to beat. 6 more to go. Another one. Might as well go off. Ake. Deriv, 84. Okay, we're climbing. We're nearly at that 86. 5 more to go. Halfway there, and finally we get a walkout. Who on earth is that? Brazilian centre mid, Bruno G? I mean, he's got to be the only one. I will take a Bruno G every day of the week. At least we get a walkout. So... Okay, so we did, what, 6 and we got a first walkout. Could we get one in the final 4? Not in this one, unfortunately. Another centre mid. Imagine we get Joel Linton in that one. It's going to be Moreno, still keeping it Prem vibe, which is always nice. Now, in terms of the ways that you can grind this out then, because there's always, whenever I see Egyptian, it does make my heart stop just that a little bit. Marmouche, I mean, fantastic, especially because I've got him tradable. That's a pretty decent one, to be fair. For the 84, we take that. Then, we've got centre mid. We might have to finish these two off. Brazilian into Joe Linton. Oh no, Gabriel. Okay, no. And then the final one, it's not been terrible. Now, obviously, Marmouche is fantastic for the vibe of him. Left back, Spanish, Baude, which we've already got as well. Ooh, Gaia. Okay, so not terrible, not the greatest. I think they're a bit of both. I mean, Marmouche is going to save you 20k on buying him. So, I mean, that's not going to be terrible in itself. Now, the ways that you grind this, because there's a few ways that you can go about it, and most definitely there's cheaper ways that definitely take longer, and there's expensive ways that can cost you real money or coins in the game that are quicker. Now, obviously you need 6 rares, 1 common, and then if you don't get anybody good, I could just go back through. I'll look, for instance, if I go back into this now, and if I'm going gold rare, I'll go into the storage from whatever I've had, whack that in, and that's going to give me a few that we've obviously got. Now, naturally, I don't necessarily want to put any 83s in this. Realistically, like any of the upgrades, I'd probably say a max of 82 realistically, and again, it will depend massively on what or who the 82 is, because if it's a good 82, then obviously, yeah, you don't particularly want to put them in, but they are all untradeable coming back, so that's kind of not necessarily too much of an issue. But realistically, try and use your untradables first. If you've got loads of them, then perfect. Now, if you go to do the cheap way, it is going to be by grinding in all of your upgrades, grinding all of your packs, all of that good stuff. We're going to get Trossard. Oh, again there. You're going to grind out all your gameplays, all your rewards, rivals, obviously doing champs when you've finished it, if you've finished it today. Squad battles, all that jazz is going to give you enough fodder to be able to keep doing these at a consistent basis. Now, naturally then, you've got all of your upgrades. For instance, your silver, bronze to gold. They're going to be perfect to get some rares. So if you've got an abundance of obvious commons, they're not utilized at the minute. It seems to be heavy on that big gold rare. So what I could do is go into the club, ignore position, go low to high, and I could start putting in some of the commons, because naturally I don't need all of them. That's the kind of big point with this at the moment. Again, whether you want to completely do all of your upgrades like this is where the slow part comes. Whether you want to use duplicates, whether you want to just use untradables, that is down to you personally. I would say, if I was looking at this, I don't think it would be that worth it to go too crazy into this. Just purely on the fact that we are going to get better upgrades, we're going to get better ways to grind the game, and I don't think grinding this one's going to be that crazy. Now, if you are looking at spending money, the way I personally would look at this, and it's money or coins. If you don't want to use your coins, then you use your money for this. You have got 45 rares here. Now, I would love to be in a position to be able to just open this up, but 50,000 coins, I'm not necessarily going to sit here and grind through all of them. But say I've already got 10 or 15 rares in there, or the 10 or 15 rares I more than likely get back from these as well. I'll be able to do at least, say, like 10 to maybe 12, 13 upgrades through recycling as well, for just opening up one of these. So if you are putting points on the game, this is probably going to be one of the better ways to do it, because the sheer volume that you get of 45s. Now obviously there's no chance of upgrades, so again, when we look through a lot of these upgrades here, if we're looking at the untradable ones, 25 gold, 20, 11, and they're coming in roughly on that same sort of value. So I would personally go with the provision like anything. Again, you've got the commons, so when they become of a thing, then obviously you can utilize that. But 50,000 coins, you can obviously do 10 or so upgrades. You possibly could get them cheaper. I don't actually know, because if you've got 50 of them upgrades, for instance, if we're going for 6 rares, if we look over on Footbin, this SBC is coming in at 4.25k. So to do 10 of them, you're spending 40 something k anyway to do it as you would as such. So realistically, if you're doing around about 10 or so without necessarily having to go on the market and buy all of them players. At least it gives you something. There is obviously a chance you can get potentially a team of the week if there is a 75 or 80 with a team of the week, and you can kind of grind through that way. Realistically, they are the best two ways at the moment. Either utilizing what you've got, putting things through your silver and gold upgrades, and then just naturally any duplicates you get from rewards or any sort of packs grinding through the game. Realistically, they're the only things going at the moment, because the grind is very lackluster in the sense of we don't have League SBCs, so that's going to be a big one where we can't completely get unlimited with like a certain level. Like I can say unlimited because we can keep doing bronze, silver, gold upgrades, but when I say unlimited, it's limited at probably about 15 at best, because you're gonna have to spend so long grinding this out. You're gonna have to do 3 of these, so you need 33 golds, meaning you're gonna need to do what, 11 of them. You're gonna need to do so many of them to be able to even get in there, and then more than likely you're spending more coins than that anyway. So it is necessarily a long grind, whereas spending the 50k, I can go do 10 right now quite easily. So it is dependent on which way you want to go. Personally, for me, I would say kind of leave them out at the moment. I'd just be focusing on doing your upgrades, doing your objectives. I would 100% recommend keep on track for these. There's only 23 days left, and when there's 70 games to go, it can catch up pretty quickly. So I would definitely be looking at trying to complete these more so than grinding the upgrades, because we're going to get a whole new batch. And when you do look at the season, for the players that you potentially could get, once we get towards the end of this season, there's some decent players coming in here. Mainu, Tamore, some very nice players that will happen to get into your club very quickly. Plus then you've got tournaments and all of that jazz coming up as well. So trying to figure out that silver team, maybe looking at some of the other SBCs instead, might be the best it might be just be the better placement of your time personally. So that is going to be the upgrade for today. I don't think it's necessarily crazy. I do think they really need to knock that rares on the head. I think you could get away with like 2 or 3, the rest being common at the moment. I know more people will do upgrades, but realistically with the weight that we've got, I think it will be better to kind of do it that way. But that's kind of when we'll see the player picks come in, hopefully very, very soon. So let me know down below if you managed to get anything good from them, if you are grinding anyway, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.